Let's bring you the news at this time. In China now, where President Bola Tinubu says Africa holds vast opportunities for investments, growth and development, with its vibrant population, its productive economy and natural resources. He was speaking at a bilateral meeting in Beijing with Chinese Premier Li Qiang. President Tinubu commended the role of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in advancing partnership between Africa and China for mutual development and prosperity. He also called for a strategic focus on areas of collaboration that will ensure the relationship remains mutually beneficial.
This journey together, we believe that we can share a very common denominator, which is investment and development, to ensure China and African relationship is encouraged. I'm happy that the strategic partnership being promoted is acceptable to both sides. And this is the only way to go. Africa is a huge opportunity for economic development. As a great people, I'm willing to partner for progress and development.
And back home, the National Economic Council, chaired by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has given a deadline to 4 states yet to submit their reports on the establishment of state police. The NEC warned that if any of these 4 states refuse to submit its report before the deadline, any decision taken will be binding on such state. State House correspondent Femi Akonde has more.
Another setback for the establishment of state police in the country. Despite a 4-week deadline given in April for about 20 states to submit their reports on the establishment of state police, 4 months later, Kwara State, Sokoto, Adamawa, Kebbi and the FCT still delayed the decision of the National Economic Council on the establishment of state police as a solution to tackling emerging security threats across the country.
An update on the establishment of state police was considered, and this was as a result of security challenges that we have across the nation: northeast, northwest, north central, southwest, southeast, south-south, so that we would have a robust security in our nation. And for that purpose, sometime in the past, NEC considered the establishment of state police.
The flood situation across the country and the devastation caused was also a talking point at this meeting of the National Economic Council. The flood committee, earlier set up by NEC in November last year, was reconstituted and a deadline given for states to submit a comprehensive detail of losses incurred and damages.
The flood was more devastating along the northeast axis, where the major artery between Kano and Maiduguri has been cut off, with devastating effects on households, schools, bridges, and other means of livelihoods. Lives were lost, and a lot of properties were also destroyed. We need to provide more of food security, and some of the farmlands are already submerged. And there would therefore be a need for collaboration between all the tiers of government to ensure food security.
Monday will be the deadline for all the states of the Federation to submit detail of damages, including farms, schools, bridges that have been affected by the last flood, And Mr. Chairman mentioned that it will be taken into consideration for appropriate support to the various states.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare briefed Council on the state of nutrition in the country. Council agreed to prioritize nutrition interventions in next year's budget across federal, state, and local levels, ensuring that sufficient funding is allocated to meet the nation's nutrition goals.
Ensure that the resources begin to be put in place in 2025 budgets as we come towards that cycle, so that states also have line items for budget on nutrition, just as federal government itself will also do that, so that we plan to deliver the interventions in a multi-sectoral way that will ensure that our children grow to be healthy, have the cognitive capacity that will drive the prosperity that is in our future.
The Vice President commended the efforts of development partners, particularly the co-chairman of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Aliko Dangote, who were at the NEC meeting. He described them as two distinguished individuals whose commitment to Nigeria's progress is unparalleled. On his part, Mr. Gates reiterated his bet on the incredible potential of Nigerians, acknowledging that Nigeria's economic leaders have done some difficult but necessary things in ensuring growth and development. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Talking health now, Nigeria is set to begin a planned cross-border synchronization campaign with Niger, Chad, and other neighboring countries against the circulating variant of polio. Co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, says the foundation will support Nigeria in this drive to fight against vaccine-preventable diseases. Kemi Balogun reports.
Diarrhea and pneumonia have continued to affect the lives of thousands of children under the age of 5 in Nigeria and across the African continent. Nigeria, although polio-free, has continued to battle with keeping the disease at bay alongside other diseases through various vaccination campaigns, which has been largely driven by the support of traditional leaders. This quarterly review meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery welcomes Bill Gates with an update of Nigeria's response effort on routine immunization.
Viruses from Nigeria to other countries. I think there's good information that there are many viruses that when we don't control them, we can export them, and we don't want to be in that position. And we are planning cross-border synchronization.
We have made significant progress in our collective efforts to reach chronically missed children, and we have intensified efforts to resolve pending cases of non-compliance while trying to improve population immunity.
So thank you very much, all members of NTL, for the work we have been doing in the last 15 years.
Now hopefully is
in his response, Mr. Gates highlights the importance of routine immunizations in protecting children from diseases, while also cautioning Nigeria not to place too much emphasis on local manufacturing of vaccines at the expense of other much-needed health sector products.
You know, it's pretty amazing how the price of vaccines have been brought down. Eventually, of course, Nigeria should, aspire to make all things. But in the health sector, there's many other things that we should probably put higher on the list in terms of making sure availability and cost are improved by local entrepreneurs.
Cross-border transmission continues to be a huge challenge, but your domains will extend beyond man-made borders. As you know, the virus that started in Zamfara has now affected much of Western and Central Africa.
Mr. Gates is visiting Africa's most populous nation as part of the foundation's ongoing commitment to Africa's development. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.